Okay guys, just myself today. I was looking for a volunteer to do a little 2 round rookie mock, but nobody came forward, so you're stuck with just me. So here we go, my David Pilling 1-man rookie mock draft, 12th of April, I have no idea. 101, consensus 101 at the moment, I'm going to stick with it. Breece Hall, running back from Iowa State, not much to be said. He was always in the equation at the top back in December. His combine has just cemented him. I'm hearing a lot of people call him as a top 5 dynasty running back already. It's a bit rich for me at this moment, but this year's 101, undoubtedly. Now, 102, I've made a slight adjustment. I'm going Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker, running back from Michigan State. The reason being, I've got a top 2 at running back at the moment and a big gap to my RB3, whoever that might be. We'll find out later. So I've relegated Malik Willis to 103. Just slightly too much risk for me to take at 101, 102, depending on my gamble situation. But I'm happy to take Willis at 103 and move on. Okay, 104 sees our first wide receiver come off the board, and I went with Drake London. To me, he ticks every box. He's complete. He's most NFL ready. Not a lot separating the first 3 at the moment, in my opinion. Possibly even the first 5 or 6 wide receivers. So I'll just fly through them. 105, I've got Garrett Wilson from Ohio State, playing in a very pass-heavy offense at college. All 3 of those Ohio State wide receivers this year are going to be first-round rookie picks. We've got Olave coming up later, and we've got Jackson Smith and Jigma next year. So that's 3 quality wide receivers, and he led those in receptions and yards. So he's a worthy 105 at the moment for me. 106, slightly lower than a lot of people have him, is Treylon Burks, wide receiver. There's just too many doubts for me to rate him as my wide receiver 1. Sure, he's an athletic monster, he's a beast, he's got yak. But we've seen guys like that before, like Laviska Shenault. And at the moment, I would give up none of these guys in my 2 rounds to get Laviska Shenault at the moment. A change of scenery might change things for Shenault. So I've got a little bit of doubts about Treylon Burks, but at 106, I'm happy to take him. I might even sell him. I might take him at 106 and then sell him, because there's enough doubt for me. 107, I've gone back to Ohio State wide receiving group and Chris Olave. Now Olave gets a lot of down because he didn't dominate in his extra year at college. But as we said earlier, he's got 3 first-round talent amongst the receiving core there. So don't put a downer on Olave because of that. Dominated as a freshman, surrounded by talent, and he's still produced good numbers. So anyone sleeping on Olave, it's your own fault. 108, I've got the flyer from Alabama, Jameson Williams. Now the injury is obviously a concern, and as I said before, I can't put Williams above Olave and Wilson when the Ohio State coaches couldn't put Williams above those 2. So I'm sticking with that principle, and I'm sticking with Williams at 108. 109, bit of a climber at the moment, is George Pickens, wide receiver. Again, you've got slight injury worries, but he's climbing up the boards. People seem to be less worried about the injury concerns now, so that's a good sign for him. It looks like he's going to get possible late first round, early second round draft capital. I'm firing him in as my 109 very happily. Okay, 110, 111. Now, I don't expect this to happen in real drafts because I don't expect guys in that position to be drafting quarterbacks. So I'm just going to assume the picks have been traded and just go purely off value. 110 I went for Kenny Pickett, and 111 I went for Matt Corral. Now I'm going to put my hands up in the air. I really don't have a clue regarding this year's quarterback class. I know I don't rate them very highly, but I don't know who's going to be the QB2, QB3, QB4, QB5. Totally up in the air. I think the NFL draft will decide that, and it will also decide if they're going earlier in our rookie mocks. To wrap up round one, and you're probably wondering if I've made an omission, but no, it wasn't deliberate. Wrap up round one, at the 112, I've got Isaiah Spiller. Now, as I've said before, this guy was originally in the RB1 equation back in December for some people, but the combine is a worry. It is a big, big worry. I saw somewhere that there hasn't been one running back with a BMI of under 30 that has run a slower 40 of 4.63, I think it was, than Isaiah Spiller. Now, if there hasn't been one running back success with that BMI of under 30 and that slow of a combine time, not one has been a success, then it doesn't give me much confidence in Spiller. Again, it's one of these picks where I'm picking him just purely for the value at 112, and then you're probably more than likely I'm going to be selling him straight afterwards. More than likely. I'm not going to have him in my roster, I don't think. I really don't. But I hope he proves me wrong and he has a successful career. Okay, into the second round. 201, we've got Jahan Dotson, again wide receiver. Quality, just look at the tape. Look at some of the quality contested catches, some of the athleticism. He's not generating any real hype. He's staying around the same position. He could get first round draft capital early second round. So good quality wide receiver. First pick in the second round. I'm happy with it. Going to 202, and I'm going for another wide receiver. Christian Watson. Now, this is a guy that's been getting so much hype, the opposite of Dotson. Starting to worry, is the hype getting out of hand? Is he going too high? But, I mean, if he goes to Kansas or Green Bay or something, it's only going to go higher. Let's hope that it's not a hype train that's going to get derailed, just like Trey Sermon. Don't even go there. 203. We've got Sam Howell, quarterback, and 204 we've got Desmond Ridder, quarterback. Now again, as I said, these quarterbacks could go absolutely anywhere in the NFL draft and in our rookie mocks. They could go late first, they could go mid-second, they could even go late second. Don't be surprised. Ridder's been climbing up and Howell's probably been climbing down. I'm going to do a little exercise at the end of this video just to show you. 105, we've got Sky Moore, wide receiver. 106, we've got David Bell, wide receiver. Again, I'm going back to the wide receiver position. I think there's a lot of depth at wide receiver, a lot of talent, and they're the one that have impressed most through the season with the athleticism and then again at the combine. So yeah, I'm wide receiver heavy in my first 18 picks, first round and a half. 207, I'm going to tight end, I'm going to Trey McBride. I think he ticks a lot of boxes for me. A lot of these sort of middling young wide tight ends, I think I can trade for a mid-second, and I'm quite happy to take Trey McBride. So if I've got Irv Smith, a Dawson Knox, an Albert O, if I can trade him for somewhere around about the 205, 206, I'll be targeting a straight replacement in Trey McBride, who I think is going to get me better production. But keep that quiet. Okay, 208, I'm going finally back to the running back. I'm going for Brian Robinson. Now, Brian Robinson's always had a lot of hate and he's never been up that high, but he's maintained his position. And partly the reason for that is he's been at Alabama. Now, okay, he didn't break out until his final season. He didn't produce numbers until his final season. But you look at what was ahead of him. You know, he's been surrounded by top grade talent that's always went in the first round of rookie drafts. So I'm not going to penalise him too much for that. I think at 208 he could prove to be a good price, especially if he goes to a team that needs a power running back. 209, I'm going back to Alabama, but back to the wide receiver. I'm going for John Mechie. Again, there's slight injury concerns. If it wasn't for that, I'd probably have him above about Sky Moore. Might even have him above Desmond Ridder. So purely the injury that's dropped him there. Another quality wide receiver. 110, a guy who was high up Davy boards a couple of years ago, is Justin Ross, wide receiver. It's maybe a bit high at 210, but again for me it's only the injury that's kept him down there. He's certainly on a par with Watson, Dotson, Sky Moore, David Bell, if it wasn't for the injury. 211, I'm going for a bit of a flyer. I'm taking Rachaad White, the running back. Now, as I said before, once you've gone past that top 3, top 4 running backs, it's an absolute minefield. There's about 10 guys, a dozen guys, that could easily be the RB4, RB5, RB3, even ahead of Spiller, depending on where they land in the draft and what draft capital they get. At the moment, I'm not willing to put anyone up high at the moment. As I say, it could be Rachaad White, it could be Zamir White, could be James Cook, could be Dameon Pierce, could be Kevin Harris. There's a sleeper for you to all look out for. There's just so many, about a dozen. Finally, 212, I'm going back to the quarterback just purely because I value the position. I'm taking Carson Strong. Now, I found an old bit of paper with my top 25 back in December. I'm just going to read them out to you and compare. At 1 we had Matt Corral. At 101 we had Matt Corral. He's now down at 111. So that's quite a slide. 102 I had Isaiah Spiller. Yes, quite a slide. Then it's almost standard. Walker, Hall, Willis, Wilson, London, Burks. David Bell at 109, he's slid quite a bit. Dotson at 110. Kyren Williams at 111. And I think he's in the 4th now. We had Kenny Pickett at 112, George Pickens at 113. Jameson Williams I had as low as 114. But I think the injury concerns have been a bit lessened since then. 115 I had Zach Charbonnet. That shows you how long ago I did it. 116 Sam Howell, 117 Chris Olave. So you can see Olave has risen up quite a lot. 18 I had Mechie, 19 I had Robinson, 20 I had Strong, 21 I had Trey McBride, 22 Justin Ross, 23 Desmond Ridder, and 24 Jalen Tolbert. So you can see there's been a couple of big slides at the top, a couple of big slides in the middle, but for the main, that top 25 hasn't really changed in 4 months. Couple of massive climbers like Sky Moore and Christian Watson. But I've had my rankings. I've kind of stuck with my rankings. I think there'll be a few changes when the running back spots on the NFL are decided. We'll get some maybe climb into the 2nd round. And we'll get some of the wide receivers drop out if they don't get draft capital and get a bad landing spot. But in the main, the first 9-10 picks are going to be the same. They might just be juggled out a bit. You know, the 108 might suddenly become the 105. The 104 might become the 107, you know, something like that. but the top 10 in general won't change. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. And not just why you had those thoughts and opinions, but who you would have instead. Okay, speak to you all soon. Hopefully the next mock I'll have Marker beside me putting his input. Hopefully he's not watching this and getting a sneak preview of who I'll be picking. Bye for now.